how are you using it and what are you using?
I love how you're using it, Melody. I use it in a similar way. I mean, I consider AI to be a strategic partner for me. We use AI to design faster, personalize deeper, and think more strategically from ideation to implementation. For example, within L&D, working with my instructional designers, we found that using ChatGPT to convert SME interviews, and we all know how that goes. It could be ongoing conversations, a lot of back and forth, and a lot of note taking. In the past, we spent a lot of time note taking during these SME interviews. So instead, we use ChatGPT to take all of our notes and compile it in a way that's solution driven, and we also use that to create learning objectives. And as you mentioned, sourcing, I have Chat GPT source Bloom's taxonomy, a lot of times ATD, the Association of Training and Development, and any credible learning and development source or methodology to ensure it's not just, combing the web so that we're getting the most credible information. So we're creating learning objectives, we're drafting engaging course outlines, lesson flows, assessments, role-based scenarios using learner personas. So what would have taken us days and maybe weeks, we're doing in 45 minutes now. So that's from an instructional design. That's just one example. Another is course development. We found that ChatGPT, along with Canva and its new AI integration, helps us generate visual storyboards, convert text to narrated videos, and most importantly, which is critical, being that I work with a lot of global organizations, translation services is what we had to hire other agencies for in the past. Now, with ChatGPT, it translates our courses for global teams. Not only is it a game changer, it's saving us a lot of money. So I encourage my teams to use it. I look at it as a strategic partner, but we're basing it on guidelines, specific sources, and there are policies around it. So we feel like we're using it in a very responsible way. And because we lack resources in certain areas, it's helping us with the lack of resources. And one other way that I'm using it, I create a lot of ebooks and create a lot of newsletters. So I have my voice already integrated within my Chat GPT. I have my voice. So whenever I'm creating and whenever it's spitting out information, I make sure to prompt it to use my voice for this particular data, because this is my personal ebook or newsletter and it maintains that. And I also have customer personas created using Chat GPT, which is a game changer, so that when we are creating content, is basing it on those customer personas that we are targeting. So I can go on, but that's currently how we're using it in L&D.
I have a question. So when you say your voice, are you talking about the audio version of your voice or your voice as in this is the way Raquel writes? And
This
how are
is
you doing that?
Yes, great question. Not audio at all. I don't want anyone to duplicate this voice. Not that they would want to,
No, that's
but
the moneymaker.
yeah. I am talking my style, my personality, my wittiness, my humor, um, the way that I'm speaking to you when we're just having coffee chats and shooting the breeze, that voice. And I started off by training it using audio, you know, using my voice for prompts and talking to ChatGPT as if ChatGPT was my friend and getting their feedback and so on. So I had months and months of data that it was collecting. So for me, when I asked it to base my voice on what we've talked about in the past, how I communicate, my wittiness, my dry sense of humor, and other things. There were a lot of details I fed it. And I also added some previous writings of mine so that it understands my style. You know, just like marketing has a style guide, a brand kit, I created one for myself. So I no longer have to ask it to write it in my voice. If it's certain types of communications, it knows to do it, or it will ask, are we writing this in Raquel's voice? And I'll say yes. So I often add to my voice and I'll say updated based on the most recent information I just added, or I would never use those words. Please never use those words again. And I like to make sure the tone is a particular tone so that when anyone's reading anything that I provide to them, it has the same feel and tone.
Yes,
I
really
think it's
great.
almost like an employee, right? Like whatever you put into it, investment wise of time and information, that then helps to really equip it to be able to deliver back um, even better performance, right? So I think that it's such a great tool to just really evolve. And I think while you guys were talking, it had me thinking too about other ways that organizations are using it that I think is worth sharing. In the past, we all talked about many times how important results are, right? How important outcomes are. If we're going to deliver a leadership development class, or if we're going to help roll out a new technology within an organization, we want to be able to measure that it delivered, that there's behavior change that actually is taking place, that the information was retained. And I think we now have tools with AI, and chat being one of them, where we can get more information and be able to extract more feedback in a different way. I know everybody I think out in the world at this point has a certain amount of survey fatigue, because we get them on every product that we buy between reviews and so there's all of that kind of fighting for getting feedback and information. And part of the challenge has been extracting out that information and having it be something that we can use, but being able to capture those more open comments. I've worked with an organization where they're sending it out as an email. Tell us about your experience in this class. We'd love to hear your thoughts. What would make it better? What did you particularly enjoy? And whereas it would be difficult for us to really capture and take that open text type information and then from a lot of different people and then get anything from it, now we're able to really feed those things through and get them. And I know, Raquel, we've talked a little bit too about just the work that you do around sales enablement and empowering organizations and individuals, right, to really excel in that. We're seeing a lot of really cool ways of creating those custom chat GPT tools that then can be built with the information that we're able to gather and that we're able to put together to create almost coaching tools that can live within an organization that's specific to those individuals and their products, their services. So I think there's a lot of really cool stuff that's coming up. I bet we're just scratching the surface, I'm sure.
Great information, Mandy. Definitely. And this is just beginning. We're just scratching the surface.
We're having a powerful conversation right now, sharing the real tools we're using at L&D and how AI is shaping the way we work. One of the best ways I stay sharp is by learning from other professionals. So let me ask you, is AI playing a role in your learning and development strategy? And if so, what tools are you using? How are you applying them? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's learn from each other. Thanks for listening.